Is the game viewing around Skukuza Rest Camp good enough to brave the busy south of the Kruger National Park? Make up your own mind by watching this video. The roads around Skukuza can get extremely busy, especially on weekends and over the school holidays, which is why I usually come here out of season and during the middle of the week. Is it only so busy because it's so easy to reach? Remember, it's one of the closest camps to Johannesburg, and it's even got its own airport. Or is it because of its massive rest camp with a great variety of accommodation types? Or do people actually come to Skukuza because of the game viewing specifically? Well, the sometimes frustrating truth is that game viewing is good enough to warrant the odd visit from time to time. If you've never seen wild dog in Kruger, come to Skukuza. If you want to give yourself a sporting chance to see the rare sable antelope, come to Skukuza. And if you want a chance of seeing the big five in one day, and sometimes even in one drive, you guessed it, come to Skukuza. If you watch to the end of the video, I'll give you some top tips of how to avoid the Skukuza crowds. But first, let me quickly tell you about a must-have book that'll help you to choose your game drive routes in the Kruger National Park. It's called Kruger Self-Drive, Routes, Roads and Ratings, and it has dedicated pages about each and every road in the park, which gives you an idea of what you can expect to see when you drive there. Follow the link in the description below if you want to order it online. My favorite morning drive from Skukuza is south towards the Biamiti Weir. I prefer to take the H11 and H3 tar roads down because that gives me a chance to check three very productive places: the Delaport waterhole, the three sets of rocky outcrops at the H3 turnoff, as well as Kwaggaspan. You'll be unlucky not to see leopard or lion here if you drive it a couple of times early in the morning. Then take the S23 Biamiti River Road all the way down to the weir itself, where you can usually take some amazing eye-level photographs of whatever's around on the day. You can then take the S114 gravel road, which gets a little bit corrugated in places, back to camp, giving yourself a good chance to bump into lions. If you don't mind some traffic, drive the H41 Sabi River Road towards Lower Sabi very early in the morning. In my book, this is one of the best 5 roads for leopards in the entire park, but because it's so dense, you'll have to keep your eyes peeled. Drive it very slowly and check all the large trees as well as the Sabi riverbed itself for spotted cats. You may even spot a lion or two in the sand below. The H41 is also an excellent place to find wild dogs. In fact, together with the H12 that runs parallel with it, and perhaps the H11 Paul Kruger Gate entry road, it's probably the best road for wild dogs in the Kruger National Park. What I also like about this road is the breathtaking scenery, as well as all the other animals like bushbuck, nyalas, baboons, vervet monkeys, hippos, and of course elephants that get attracted to the Sabi River. If you're happy to stay out all morning, drive all the way to Lower Sabi and back. And if you want to do a shorter trip, just drive to Nkuhlu and back. But be very careful of naughty baboons and monkeys at this picnic site. Take a moment to scan the water below the Sabi high water bridge for crocodiles, hippos and waterbirds, including the rare African finfoot, which is seen here from time to time. Oh, before I forget, if you want to see sable, search along the S36 north of Jones Dam. For some reason, they love this area and it's by far the best road in the park to look for them. My route of choice in the afternoon is the S1, S3 loop west of camp. I usually drive out along the dense S3, which is nice and shaded and the perfect habitat for leopards. I then come back along the much more open S1 Doispan road, which runs through a variety of habitat types. In the west, around Nyamundwa Dam, you stand a chance of seeing cheetahs, and the further east you drive, the better your chances of seeing leopard, lion and wild dog. Make sure to give yourself at least 3.5 hours to complete this loop. If you head out nice and early though and you give yourself enough time, you could drive back to camp via the S65 Nvasvisaka River Road and the H11 Tar Road, which gives you a chance to watch the sunset from Matikanyane Hill, where you're allowed to get out of your vehicle. Just leave yourself at least 15 minutes to get back to camp before the gates close. And if you don't know which road to drive and you don't feel like sitting in camp, pop in at Lake Panic Bird Hide, which is situated right next to Skukuza Golf Club. Photographers come here from far and wide to photograph a variety of water birds, reptiles and hippos. Even leopards show up from time to time. Speaking of the Skukuza Golf Club, remember to check out my video about Skukuza Rest Camp itself at the end of this one. As promised, here are a few tips to avoid the Skukuza crowds. Number 1. As I said before, avoid the school holidays and weekends if you can. Number 2. Don't queue at the gate early in the mornings. Rather leave 15 minutes after the gates open when all the early bird Formula 1 drivers have dispersed enough. Number 3. Drive away from Paul Kruger and Pub Any gates early in the morning so that you don't have to share the road with the day visitors during the golden hour. And tip number 4. Drive the back roads if the popular ones get too bad. I've had great sightings on roads like the S21, the S26, the S30 as well as the S36 before. I really hope you found this video about the game viewing around Skukuza very helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and check out the other videos in the Kruger game viewing playlist as well. And don't forget to check out the link in the description below if you'd like to order Kruger self-drive routes, roads and ratings online.